You know, right now I'm 7,000 miles away from home, and that kind of distance away from friends and family can be really difficult for a lot of people to handle. First of all, if you're in a foreign country or on a ship, it can be a very sudden and drastic change compared to what you're used to, and it can't be an easy adjustment, but the good news is there are ways to handle it. I mean, I've felt it, my friends have felt it. I've seen a lot of people struggling because things are happening at home that they feel like they can't properly respond to because they're not there. It can be a really, really difficult thing, but the good news is you're not alone. We've all felt it, I've felt it, and if you join, there's a good chance you're going to feel it, but it's perfectly normal. It really all started in boot camp, where after a couple of weeks, it turned out their relationship wasn't as strong as they thought because their girlfriend sent them a letter saying, hey, this isn't really going to work out, I found someone else. And even the person that was sleeping in the same bunk bed as me, the person on the top rack was like, guys, I'm single now, But in the end, it was kind of a coping mechanism to be like, I can't believe this relationship is now over, I really cared about her. But a lot of relationships, even marriages, have ended around me. Now, the thing is, if your relationship couldn't handle being away for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, that relationship might not have been as strong as you thought. I mean, in my opinion, if your relationship can't handle being separated for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, maybe it wasn't really meant to be anyways, because there's a lot of people that are happily married in the military and they've been together for many, many months, years, and so on. And they've gone through in their relationship the same exact things that the other relationships that didn't really succeed went through. What I'm trying to say is that if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And if it's not meant to be, people are going to go drift off and do their own thing. Either he's going to call it off, she's going to call it off, or sometimes they just go quiet. I've felt it, we've all felt it. And it's just the way it works. Now, if you want it to work, and if both sides are cooperating, it's going to work. And if people are just not that interested or don't care, it's going to fade away and disappear. That's what happens. Again, the distance is not going to destroy any relationships you have, either friendships or family or romantic relationships. What it's actually going to do is expose the relationships and friendships that weren't real or not strong really in the first place. Because I haven't lost any real friends. I only found out who the fair weather friends were or the acquaintances were. Pretty much no matter what you do, there's going to be some stress and frustration with being away from home, but you're going to find out that your friends and family back home are going to be a lot stronger than you thought. For the people back home while you're gone, their lives are going to continue with you not being there. I mean, they're not celebrating you being gone, but their lives aren't going to slow down or stop. Life itself is not going to slow down or stop back home just because you're gone. Which means once you come back home, things might be different than when you left, maybe even drastically, but after a couple of weeks, you should be able to adjust again. Meanwhile, you're overseas and it feels like everything you ever knew or cared about is a million miles away, which it might as well be. A lot of the stuff that I spent my entire life surrounded by is suddenly just gone when I got here, and it was a pretty rough adjustment at first, and I don't think it ever really got easier. I just kind of missed the stuff that I missed more and more the longer I was here, because I missed grass. I haven't seen a squirrel in 2 years. I haven't seen a lot of things. I miss clean air and water. I miss a lot of stuff. Certain fast food places, certain people back home, just the layout of the city, because here it's nothing like any place I've ever been in America. And it's an adjustment, but eventually everything does go back to normal once you go back home. The best thing you can possibly do when you're trying to deal with being away from everyone and everything you've ever known or loved is to just realize that you're going through something, but so is everybody else around you. You're here by yourself and everything you know or care about is back home, but everyone else around you here is going through the exact same thing. So what you do have is the realization that you're here, but so is everybody else. So you can connect with those people and you can kind of be alone together. You're going through the same thing, they understand your situation, and it's a lot easier to connect with someone else here than trying to relate with someone back home anyways, because they can't fully understand what you're going through because you have to go through it to understand. This is where that camaraderie comes from, because only the people that you are directly with are going to fully understand what you're going through, and they're going to understand it a lot better than anybody back home that you're trying to relate to. And you don't want to compare whatever you're going through here with problems that somebody else is having back home, because it can seem like their problems that are affecting them pretty badly are not that bad in comparison to yours. And the person back home might be thinking the same thing, where it's like, well, you know, I don't know what you're complaining about, because what you're complaining about isn't that bad compared to what I've gone through. And you can have like it's a weird dichotomy, and it's really apples to oranges. What somebody is going through here is not the same as what somebody's going to go through somewhere else. And that's pretty much universal anyways, but I think it's extra true for something like this. Now, while you're overseas, if you sit still for too long, you might start thinking about the past, you might start wondering about the future, and that's probably not really a great place to be. So what a lot of people start doing is like pick up a hobby or get serious about the gym, pick up some kind of a new interest like trying new things, and kind of keep your mind and body moving, because if you sit still for too long, your mind might start wandering, and who knows where it's going to end up. The best advice I can give you to handle being away from home is, number one, video chat and text message the people that you care about back home at least a couple times a week. It'll help you relax, it'll help them relax, and you won't feel abandoned and they won't feel abandoned. Number two, pick up a hobby, especially something productive like learning a new language or going to the gym. If you invest in yourself, nobody can ever take that away from you. Number three, remember why you joined and think about how far you've come. You worked very, very hard to earn everything you have right now, and you didn't get this far just to fail in the end. Everything is temporary, for better or worse, and no matter what kind of a time you're going through, remember it's only temporary. My last job taught me that even if you're having the worst day ever, that day will eventually end and you can move on to a better and brighter day. If it's your first time being away from home or your first time living alone, it's alright, you'll adjust. And remember, you're never really alone. You've got your coworkers, you've got your support network like the chaplain, and remember there's always somebody very important upstairs. Again, it's perfectly normal to miss your family, to miss your pets, to miss your home, to miss the United States itself, but I promise you, you're going to come home, everything's going to be alright, and you're going to have all kinds of cool stories to tell them.